What's cooking, chickens? What's happening? We're gonna have a discussion today, and we're gonna make a quickie. But I want to kind of cover all the reasons people think they're not booking. If you guys have some, while you guys are jumping on down here, give me your reasons. What do you think your reasoning of not booking work is right now? A lot of people think that their booking has something to do with how good or bad of an actor you are, and a lot of times that's not necessarily it. I have some friends that have been in this industry for a long time, and some of them work really often, and they'll be the first ones to tell you they're not really that good of an actor. So while we might think that the reason we're not booking is because we're not as good of an actor as we think we could be, that's not really that factual. And they'll be the first ones to tell you, yeah, I'm not really that good. They'll say things like, I'm not the best actor, but I'm a lot of fun to have on set. Or they'll say that I'm not the best actor, but I've been doing it long enough that people trust me to show up and do a good job. And that's really the thing, is we're not always looking for the best actor. We might be looking for the person that fits the best. We might be looking for the person that is the right skin tone, the right eye color, the right height, the right color hair. I've done auditions where we're having to match families together, and if myself and the wife are both brunettes, well, that probably knocks out majority of the blonde kids they're going to be auditioning to play our child. So I think we get so caught up in thinking that this game is about your talent when, of course, this is about your talent. But at the end of the day, that's not always what comes into play, right? We've got to match within the family or whoever else is on there. If you look very similar to our lead, you're probably not going to book the role you're after. If you brought the most badass scene and you auditioned and just killed it, right? Like you were the best auditioner or the best actor in the room that came in for that. But maybe you didn't book it because your tone of acting was perfect for film and television, for film, but it wasn't in the right tone for the TV show. What's up, Josh? So, you got to keep that in mind. It's like you might be auditioning for something for HBO that's very film oriented, right? We're not in a rush. We're not in a hurry. We're allowing for the moments to happen, for the awkward pauses in between the two humans to happen. And if you're auditioning in very 22-minute comedy style where you're just on it and just going and going and going, that might be really funny and you might be an amazing actor, but if you don't fit within the tone or the style or the tempo of the show, sorry, you may not be right what we're looking for today. We talked about matching within the family. Some of you guys are just jumping in, but yeah, if you're auditioning to play, for Josh, we've talked about it before, but if Josh is about to book a role, but the female is 4'2", Josh is a tall, stunning man, so he might be too tall to work opposite the little short girl, and that's kind of the stuff we have to keep in mind. Is it's not always about our acting. It might be the tone. Heck, if you auditioned and you had to put on tape, which is 90% of the auditions you guys are doing right now, and your studio was dark, or there was just couldn't see your eyes enough because the overhead light was getting you, casting director may have only sat on watching your tape for like 5 seconds and we're like, all right, well, I can't see him, moving on. Or if you got on it, you're like, the audio was crap, moving on. You got to keep in mind that these casting directors have to take what you send them and send it on to a director with their name on it now. So if you did a pretty good job, but your video looked crappy or your audio wasn't all that great, or they noticed you cut two clips together that we shouldn't be doing, then they're probably not going to forward it on to the directors, because your quality of tape has to look good enough for them to send it on to the next the next director or producer, and say, I'm putting my name on this person. And if it's not keeping up to par to be next to others, it may not be there. Sure. And I know you guys have heard the story of like, well, my friend auditioned for it and he was just, recording his audition while holding his phone, and that was the best tape he submitted. He didn't even turn it sideways. He kept it vertical. Of course that happens. There are always going to be those, 1% chance, or someone that already has a guest star resume, or a series regular resume, or a feature film resume, and they're putting on an audition that's shot like this, or in a loud studio, or there's no mic, or crappy visuals, whatever. But if they've got a resume that's already reputable, then yeah, they might book it over you, even if they had a crappy tape. But we're always trying to give our best foot forward, right? So I moved to the Southeast, working out of New Orleans and Atlanta and the Carolinas and all that, decade ago or something like that. And what we had to do in the South for our audition tapes, it had to be quality. For so many reasons. One, there's already a stigma if you weren't Los Angeles or New York, even though majority of the actors moved back to Louisiana or Atlanta or wherever throughout the South. After training and doing all that in Los Angeles and New York, because there was this stigma to actors coming out of the Southeast, they wanted that tape to be beautiful. Again, we were up against actors that people were used to seeing in the rooms all the time. And actors that weren't in a large market, at least at the time. Now Atlanta and these other areas throughout the Southeast have caught up with Los Angeles and New York. Heck, Atlanta's probably beating Los Angeles to a certain extent, especially for feature film. So if we can keep that in mind, that I'm always wanting to turn in the best quality tape I can. I get it. No one wanted to have to be the DP and to cover sound and to do all this extra stuff. We just wanted to be actors. But think about it in this way. You also have a really cool opportunity to make the lights like you want, to tone it down a little bit to fit in the CW kind of, dark shadowy thing, or to make it big, bright, and poppy and crop yourself where you want so they can look more like a 22-minute comedy. There's so many different things that you guys have the opportunity to do now that look at it as the positive. You guys can take advantage of toning your audition. You can do it however many times you want to at your own house. Feel free to pop some questions down below. I'm going to cover some of this in a second as well. So I just want you guys to keep that in mind. It's not just about your acting. It's about the tone that you're bringing. It's about all of the other stuff. Hey, if you were up for the role that the director's cousin's niece also wanted, and they were like, hey, she's okay. Yeah, I guess we can give her that little role. You lost it because, they were related. And it is what it is. Things happen. All we can do is do our best, turning quality tapes consistently. And at some point, casting will go, wow, they're always turning in good tape. I'm going to keep bringing them in. And if some casting director is bringing you in, 20 times a month, don't get aggravated. That's a good thing. That means they like you and they're just trying to figure out where you fit. Feel free to drop me some questions down there. I wasn't planning on staying on too long today, but it's been a while since I've been on live. If you guys are already following my regular page, the Dean West, I'll go live there a little more often, and I'm going to start trying to get onto this one more often as well. Also, my YouTube at the Dean West, I think, is the same thing, or I am Dean West. I don't know. Just search Dean West. There's a Dean West acting studio on YouTube, and then there's a regular one. I'm going to be putting stuff there as well. I missed most the short to tall ratio talk for actors. Yeah, one of the actors that work with me pretty often, a good friend of mine, Josh, is on the feed right now as well. What's up, Ashley? And he's a tall guy. Josh, how tall are you if you're still on here? I want to say you're like 6'3" or 4'9" and a half or 2.5. Anyway, tall. And, if he's auditioning to play the lead opposite the female that's 5 foot, well, then it might be tough. Okay, Josh is 62 and a half. No, Josh is 6'2" and a half. So, if he's opposite someone that's tiny, for instance, if Josh had to play the buddy with Tom Cruise being like 5'2" or something, short, then yeah, he's probably not going to book opposite Tom Cruise because of height, unless it's specific to the reasoning they're casting him, which is where Josh's strong suit comes in. If I'm looking for someone that's, super tall to play the tall man or whatever the thing is at the time, then yeah, he's got the leg up on the people that are too short. Before you got your big break, did you already know how you were going to book character-wise? Or did the industry kind of let you know by the roles you kept getting sent to audition for? What a fantastic question. And here's the story to go with that. So I was in LA, and this was probably my second or third year of doing pilot season. And I was with Brillstein Gray, which is like a humongous management company. I mean, were repping, they've branched off now, but they were with, they were repping Adam Sandler, Brad Pitt, all the others. What's up, Kenzo? And so I thought, like all actors, when we first start getting into this and we start training, we're like, yeah, I want to play all these characters, right? And you're in acting class and you get to play all these weird, different characters that you think are fun, and they are. But let's get real, right? I'm not going to be playing a hooky pirate with a funny eye. At least not when I was in my 20s, right? Clean shaven, without this extra 4 inches of face, right? I'm auditioning for the leading man. That's what I was auditioning for, or leading young man at the time, and I didn't understand what marketing was. I didn't understand roles and types at the time, right? I'd come from class where I was doing scenes of getting to play all kinds of stuff, all different accents and all those things that we love doing. And so every time I would get an audition, I wanted to create character. I wanted to be something, right? So so I was creating characters, and if it was the leading man, well, it's the good-looking leading man. I need to play a good-looking guy, right? Or whatever we thought that would be. And I remember like a couple auditions that when I was with Brillstein, they'd call and get some feedback and let me know what was going on or what they thought, and they were like, "Hey, Dean, look, they loved you. They thought you were a really, really fantastic actor, and they'd love to see you back tomorrow. The notes were, they don't think you know how good looking you are." Okay. What the do I do with that? No clue how to handle that, right? Because just, again, I'm thinking, okay, I need to be more good look. I need to play the good looking guy. So I feel like good looking guys are kind of douchey. I'm gonna play him a little douchier then, cocky. So I go in, I do the audition as the callbacks. I thought I nailed it. Brilliant, right? Leave. I'm like, yeah, it's pretty good. I was confident in that audition. My manager calls and says, "Hey, Dean, how'd your callback go?" "I don't know. I thought it went pretty good. What, did you get feedback?" "Yeah, no, they called me pretty quickly after you left." "Oh, that's great." "Kinda." "Okay, what was the feedback?" They said you were a little douchey." Well, yeah, that's what good-looking guys do, right? They're a little bit douchey. So I tell you that story. So I tell you that story to tell you this. You need to realize that what you are and who you are is most likely what you're going to get cast for most of the time, right? If you're a good-looking guy, most likely they're going to be bringing you in for roles that already fit what you are, what your headshots and what you represent in all of your marketing material. So while yes, we want to understand that, my main focus for you guys is usually to figure out what are the main like 3 roles you feel like you fit, right? So right now, I'm going to use myself for example. I've got this whole beard thing going, and kind of some short hair on the side. So I feel like this could kind of go maybe like ex-military. I feel like this look is very could fit well in like those superhero type of stuff, villains, especially with some of the gray kind of going down and the kind of pointy where the beard's pointing out here, that kind of stuff. So I'd figure out what those main 3 things are that I fit mostly, and I would hone my material around that, right? Do I look like a well-kept lawyer most of the time? If I look like a lawyer, do I also fit within the cop world? So I'd find those things because think about this. So if I'm casting something and I've had this one guy that always auditions and I'm always like, God, he really looks like a cop, right? I always think of that guy when it pops up. So now, and I've seen him audition and I'm like, man, he's a good actor. He just doesn't fit this because he looks so much like a cop. Now, as that casting director, when I see the role come on my breakdowns that says blah 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 cop, that's the person that pops in my mind. I want casting to remember you for one of those main three roles so that you are one of the people they think of that pops in their brain when that audition comes across their table. So I need blah 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 to put this on tape because I think they're perfect for this. I understand that might seem like you're getting stuck in that whole typecasting thing, but we've all talked about it. To me, if you are being typecasted, that means you are working. And being a working actor puts you in about the top 5% of our union. Sorry, congratulations for making a decent amount of money. So the more you do that, the more you build a career, the more you build a name, the more you build a resume, and then eventually you can start stretching. Then you can start doing all the things you want to do. Now you can play serial killers and whatever else you want to do. But yeah, find the thing and pay attention. Ask your agent if you can get a submission report. When you ask your agent that, by the way, when you write your agent and say, I would love to get a submission report from you, specify that you're looking at the submission report not to see if they're submitting you, right? We're not questioning their judgment and their work. We're asking for that submission report so that we can see what are we getting called in for the most, what are we getting submitted for the most, and which casting directors are calling us in. Now I know who to target. I know what casting directors I need to target that I'm not getting called in for. I know what shows they're doing. I know how to make sure my headshots fit within the world that they play in. If I really want to get in this casting office that only does like Vampire Diaries stuff, I need to make sure that I have a headshot that represents me within the Vampire Diaries type of world. Got it? So if I can do all that, now I've got this submission report that also tells me what auditions I'm getting called in for the most. So I know I probably have a headshot that represents that role. And if I need to make it better, I can. But if I'm getting called in for other stuff and I don't have a headshot that represents that role, I need to get some marketing material that represents that role. All right, let me come back to this. I got cast in a film and was told, you're a good-looking guy, but you're not funny. But I'm actually hilarious. I needed that story. Yeah, maybe they thought you were a different kind of funny. I don't know. I don't know what that means. Kenzo, typecasting means your type is solid. You damn right. I got to jump off in a second, but I would love to bring up my fantastically awesome buddy here, Kenzo. Kenzo, are you free to jump on for a sec? I'm going to send you a thing if you want to join me for just a tad, and we'll chat real quick. If you guys don't follow Kenzo already, wonderful actor. He's been coaching actors for a while, helps people put stuff on tape. He's based out of Los Angeles. He declined. He's also a hateful, mean little person that doesn't want to come play with me. I'm kidding. I still love him. Go check him out, and we'll do some more lives in the future. Jesse, a little late to the game. Oh, everybody's gonna be jumping on right when I was about to get out of here. Yeah, I didn't mean the hateful part. No, I was joking. He's awesome. I'm driving. So it's LA. You're probably barely moving in traffic somewhere. 4:03 is like 3 o'clock there or something. Anyway, if anybody else has any quick questions, I would love to cover something else before I jump off. We just went through some of typecasting. We talked about why you are or why you aren't getting booked. And like I said, a lot of times not getting booked doesn't necessarily mean if you're getting callbacks, if you're getting pinned, if you keep getting called in by that same cast director, you're doing something right. It's probably not your acting. So throw that crap out the window. Who wrote the book of Earl? Get out of here, Josh. All right, Kenzo is going to jump on for a second. And the bad part
Hey,
is,
buddy.
here's the crappy part, Kenzo. I've got this thing plugged into a mic, which means I can't even hear you. I was not.
Oh, no. Can anyone else hear
Hold on,
me?
wait, let
Can
me see if
everyone
this
else hear
works.
me? Yeah, let's go.
I can hear you.
I guess. Yes.
I can
I
hear
am
you.
actually in the process of moving from my place in North Burbank
Wait.
to my new townhouse in Anaheim.
Okay. Wait.
So I am
Say it again.
currently,
Say that
I'm
again.
literally in the process of moving between North Burbank, like North Burbank, down to Anaheim.
Oh my
So what
God.
you see behind me is my dog bed, my fluffy dog bed behind me.
I
And I
told you.
actually am
Look, you're a
teaching a
grown
class
up
tonight in
now.
like 3 hours.
Oh,
What's up,
nice.
buddy?
You're a grown up now. You can get a real bed. You
You know what?
you don't have to keep
I'm
sleeping in
gonna
that.
tell you though, there's something about like a 70s style shag carpeting that a
Oh,
combination of my 16-year-old Shih Tzu and my 42-year-old ass both really enjoyed. So,
oh
um,
God.
hey man, how you doing, buddy?
So give me your quick thoughts, because I know you've dealt
Yeah,
with the typecasting stuff obviously
yeah,
early on in your career. So give me your best and worst about typecasting.
sure. First and foremost, I love that story. You've told me that story before, and every single time it hits me like a sack of potatoes. Because here's the thing, man. Comically enough, Dean West is the most normal, good-looking person I know. So and I've told him and Michelle this. I've told him and his wife this, that they are the most beautiful couple I've ever met. And he goes, "What? No." I'm like going, she's a beauty pageant winner, and you got the jaw that literally can cut glass. Come on.
It's the
Um,
beard.
no, it's without the beard. Without the beard, you look good. Let's talk about, okay. So typecasting. When it comes down to typecasting, here's the way it used to be. And I like to use the word back in the day now because I laugh that you and I are both back in the day actors.
Yeah, we're back
Um,
in the days.
I would only go out for Asian roles,
Yeah.
and it was all the Asian roles. I would go out for nerds. I would go out for laundry attendants. I would go out for lawyers. I would go out for foreign ambassadors. I don't speak any other languages besides English. I would go out. I would go out for the wise martial artist in my like late 20s. I'm going out for the wise martial artist. Um, I went out a lot for foreign language students, all kinds of really weird shit, and it was only because of what I looked like. Now, you just talked about you're going to go in for what you look like, you're going for what you are. I like to use that terminology of the lowest hanging fruit. You've obviously heard about that one before, right? And the lowest hanging fruit situation basically says they're going to look at what your materials are, and they're immediately going to make not necessarily assumptions, but they're going to put you into a category
Hmm.
based upon what your headshot is, what your resume is, and then if you have a reel, what you've already booked, what they see in front of them. That's what they're going to look at first. And when you're getting into television and when you're getting into film, they don't have the luxury or the time to try and find out what awesomeness you actually have below the surface at the start. They'll learn that over time. But at the start, it's what they have in front of them. So as an Asian male in a extremely white dominated industry, especially in the early 2000s,
Oh yeah.
I went out for every Asian role. And there weren't a lot of us. There was maybe, I laugh about this group of guys. It's about probably 15, 20 guys. We're all still good friends, but these are all the guys who were in the movie Better Luck Tomorrow. This is people like John Cho and Randall Park and let's see, who else do we have in that grouping? Like Justin Chen and all those guys who are now. Henry Golding was not there yet, guys, and Simu Liu was not there yet. This is before them, but there was this big group of Asian guys, and we'd all audition against each other, and we would laugh because, like, oh, so here's the nerdy version of this character, here's the really good-looking version of this character, and that was kind of the way it went for a very long time until things started becoming more diverse in the leads realm of
Hmm.
television and film. And now it's about type. Now it's about you're going to walk in the room, not really walk in the room, but you understand what the analogy is.
Yeah.
And you see 7 or 8 guys, they're all the same type as you, but none of you look the same.
Yeah. It's the
You all
subtleties now
know.
that people are very
Yeah.
aware of.
Oh, here's 20 good looking lawyer guys, 20 lawyer guys in their 30s. But we're all different shapes and sizes. But that smile, that knowledge behind the eyes is there for all of us. Any of
Oh
us
yeah.
could turn that case and make it in our favor. You go out for cops, it's going to be a variety of different shapes and sizes, but we're all wearing uniforms, and every one of us has that little bit of that kind of authority side to it. And that's the thing. That's the great thing about what we can do now versus what we could used to do before. Now everything's more accessible.
Mm-hmm.
Now we can make content. Now we can shoot self-tapes that are freaking fantastic using an iPhone and some decent lighting and an okay OV audio setup. And you can sell yourself as a thing that you are hoping to be on television. And you can test it and see if it works. And you can have agents go, I don't know that very well. Or it might be the thing that goes, oh, well, shit, I've never seen that side of you before. Why haven't we submitted you? Well, I don't have anything like it on my resume. I don't have anything like on my reel. You know?
And that's
but if you
also
have
the
a good
glory
headshot,
now, right? We're in that glory of ages now that you and your friends can shoot the short that makes you fit within the world you want to fit in.
Do you remember that serial killer short that shot a long time ago with Rob?
I do. I always picture you squinching your butt cheeks and running across the pool.
Yep. Thanks for that. That was not what I was going to go for, but okay, we'll do that. But what I will say about that was one of my first opportunities where it was these two guys, both fantastic artists on their own, wanted to make something happen. They just assembled a bunch of friends and put it together. And at that time, we didn't have the same quality of digital that we have now.
No.
We could have done that now with the same quality that we shot it then for a quarter of the money and about half the amount of time.
Yep.
Because, you know, I mean, it's...
And any of us probably could have edited it now.
Yeah. It is fascinating to me to see how many actors complain about not getting opportunities now or not having the ability to do stuff when, guys, you have a 4K movie making machine in your pocket and you just have to learn how to use it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing. So you have to put the effort into learning how to use it. But the minute you figure that out, world's your oyster. The same reason why people learned voiceover and are able to do voiceover from their homes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to spend $1,000 on your first microphone. You spend $1,000 on your microphone when you're making $1,000 per job.
Yeah.
But to get in that door,
hey,
you get a
here we go.
$1,000 microphone. That's it.
Boom. About
See?
$300 max.
Yeah, fine.
That's with the other stuff to connect everything, right? That's not even.
Yeah. My at-home self-tape setup is 2 soft boxes that cost $40 on Amazon, and I use my old Canon 70D, which is from 2012, I think, or something like that. And I record at 1080p, and I have a little Rode shotgun mic, and that's it. And I've booked 21 jobs on self-tapes since the pandemic started.
Bam.
You know, I was in Rescue Rangers. I did Miracle Workers. I did, what have I done in the pandemic? I did Call Me Cat. I did 3 feature films that are all going to be coming out in different phases. I'm meeting with the director from Atlanta next week. Or, sorry, on Thursday. On Thursday this week about a big job. No, I have no sense of time anymore. I'm trapped in traffic. I have no sense of time anymore.
But yeah, that's the thing. Like, you know, once you hone down the quality of your taping, no more blames. No more blame game. It has nothing to do with that. If your acting's at par, nothing to do with that. Just consistently keep doing a good job. Don't get all up into the crazy mind game of, oh, but what am I doing wrong? It's probably nothing. You're probably doing absolutely nothing wrong.
If you're getting called back by the same casting director a few times, but not getting pinned, not getting callbacks, but just getting called in by the same casting director multiple times, that means they now know you. You are on the tip of their tongue. Yeah. It is just about them trying to find the right role for you to fit into. And you'll discover this, guys, over the period of 6 months to a year, those auditions will get more and more specific to you.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're going to start recognizing it in you.
And now you know your type as well. Now you know what you're getting called in for. Now you can specify that marketing material so that all the other casting directors go, oh, now I know where to put you.
Also, casting directors talk.
Oh, yeah.
They're all...
And that's the thing, like, you know, if you don't know where you fit, but every time you bring those different casting directors different things, they don't know where you fit. They just go, oh, well, it kind of fits that too. Oh, well, it kind of fits that too.
And that's where we make the mistake. That's where we make the mistake with our training. You know, Dean, you and I both come from the same school of acting where we were told we had to do everything, right? We were told we had to be song and dance man. We were told we had to be a great dramatic actor. We were told we had to be able to perform on a 40-foot stage in front of 2,000 people, but then be able to do it in front of a camera that's this big. Most people who are in this industry try to do everything instead of focusing and doing the things that they know are going to succeed faster.
Yeah.
And so they waste energy and time and they wonder why they're not getting called back. You have to be a fantastic musical theater actor in order to audition for off-Broadway and Broadway shows. If you are just auditioning and going in for open calls and wondering why you're not getting called back and why you're not booking, it's because you're probably not good enough at that musical theater. But you could be a fantastic comedic actor for multicam comedy.
I would say that's
Jack of all
also
trades,
that thing
master of none.
there's an extended version of that. Jack of all trades is a master of none, but a jack of all trades is better than a master of one. So, if you start finding that combination of you, meaning I'm not creating character anymore, which is what where we came from. Let's create these characters. But now you're starting to allow character, meaning you're finding you
Yes.
and character and this combination of putting the fingers in the right slots, connecting together. Now you're bringing a version of you every time. The casting starts going, oh, that's who they are. That's where I
Yeah.
fit them. And
Yeah.
now every character you bring is a version of yours. Something there's been stuff in the closet for however long, but it's a version of you that
Yes,
they get
yes,
to
yes.
find and fall in love with
Yes.
versus this character that they don't fucking know who that is. What is that? Who is this character you're bringing me?
It's really great that you mentioned that. That's a great example of what I like to call changing the equalizer. Like, I think all of my analogies are very, very analog, which really sucks. I feel like I'm old now. But back in the day, guys, we used to have these physical equalizers that we would adjust. It would your treble, your bass, your midtones, all this stuff like that. You would adjust it. And I would like to look at the idea that you as an actor are the same actor with different parts and volume turned up and down for what the role is going to require. If you have a character that's gone through stuff that you have not gone through, find something that equates in some way a little bit to it. Find something that if it's painful, upsetting, people ask me how do you cry? How do you cry on cue? I love that one. That's my favorite one. And I say that it's a combination of finding the thing that actually really makes you cry and then physically remembering what it feels like to cry when you've had to cry, because you're going to have to do it 15 to 20 times when you're on set.
And finding
And
a
every
way
time
to
it has to be
do
real.
what you're, we all tend to, of course, when first brain goes to, I need to cry, we try to create the cry, right? We, of course, want to make, our bodies are going, what in the hell are you doing to me? Because our bodies tend to cry when we're trying to make our bodies not cry, not the opposite. So you're automatically just stopping your normal system of flow because you're trying to force your body to do something that it knows is completely fake.
And yet, at the same time, we have to be able to do it and make it look real 15 plus times. And the only way to do that is to know your instrument as you. Don't try to be something you're not.
So I say you have to allow it to be real versus having to make it. If that allowment comes through.
I've noticed a lot of my actors also try way too hard. I think that is for everything. And it's interesting. I had a conversation with a casting director who I won't name, but she does a lot of big TV shows. And I asked her how auditions were going for a TV show. I'd been in multiple times for her, and I've booked with her before. And she goes, "You can smell the desperation in the air."
Ugh. All this pandemic.
Well, this is before pandemic. This is when you've been allowed back in the room. And I said, "Oh," and she was like, "Yeah, it's like palpable. It's like the air feels heavy."
Ugh.
And I was like, "Oh, okay," because people were trying too hard to give her what they thought she wanted for this character, when in fact all they wanted was just someone to physically go through the scene, have the conversation with the lead actor, and send them on their merry way.
Yeah.
And just happen to and to let the dialogue speak for itself. This is an Emmy Award-winning show. You do not need to do more than kind of what's on the page, and acknowledge, timing and acknowledge your circumstances.
Sure, right.
But that's about it. Most people try way too hard.
Oh yeah. It's funny. I was referencing kind of that same idea the other day, and what I used was I asked the girl I was working with. She had a recurring she was up for Walking Dead, and we were talking about it. I was like, how did you feel When's the last time you did like, a college audition, like an audition for like a college film or like some indies, something you
Yeah,
knew
yeah,
going in
yeah.
the room, like these people know way less than I do. I was like, when's the
Right,
last
right,
time
yeah.
you did that? And she was like, oh, probably, and it's like a month ago or a couple months ago, or whatever. And I was like, how'd you feel when you went in there? She's like, oh, like uber confident. I'm like, abso-fucking-lutely you did. Because you went in knowing you knew more than most of these people. We literally
Hmm.
create our circumstances for a living. Why can you not create the circumstances that you were going into audition for this, quote, quote, big film, big feature, big TV show? But what you're actually going to do is audition for this little indie college project that you don't really want.
Hmm. That's actually very accurate. I think a lot of the times we psych ourselves out when something gets big. We start getting nervous about some things, the what ifs that don't necessarily have anything to
Mm-hmm.
do with what's right in front of us. Do the work.
Yeah.
Love it. Because if you don't love it and you're stressed and you're straining about it, that's the part where it gets really that's the part where it starts getting hard too. I've been very fortunate to have a lot of auditions. Actually, I've left one audition. I'm unpacking my car. I'm teaching class. I have another audition to shoot tonight, which is for a big TV show. But it's something that it's a role that is very tiny, but I am so excited to do it because it's something that I've always thought would be hilarious for me to try and do at least once in my life. And so I'm very, very excited just to audition for this role. That kind of thing is what keeps you going, Like you get, oh, this is gonna be fun. Okay. Like you find those
Oh
kinds of
yeah.
auditions and you lock into them. But here's the thing: if you can find a way to make every audition something you're excited about, you're not gonna have time to be anxious or nervous or worrying about all that. I mean, I think you and I both said this together. Nerves and and excitement are the same actual brain wave pattern. It's just that we put different names attached to them because we somehow
The
think they're different.
perception.
Right now.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a perception. It's
Always
all
perception.
perception. Yeah. And
Yeah,
that's how
it's
you
part of that.
maintain in this industry.
Can you create that moment before you've even gone to sit into the waiting room so that you're already within that world, just waiting. You don't have to go in and turn on your
Yeah,
acting. Fuck the key. Don't turn anything on. Just be.
yeah.
Continue being. And at what if you're a serial killer, don't hurt anybody. But you get the point. Bring in the
Now I'm
world.
thinking about being a serial killer. No, no. You just be. You just live in that world. You're right. It's as soon as you find that ability to take yourself out of the equation, all of your
Yeah.
shit.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Once you take all your shit out, it's shocking how easy it can be. And here's the thing, guys. I'm sure Dean said this before. At the end of the day, you do a great job. It has nothing to do with you. At the end of the day,
Nothing.
nothing to do with you. Yeah,
Nothing.
you can be the best actor in the room, but you can be 3 inches too short. You could
Mm-hmm.
be the worst actor in the room, but you happen to have exactly the look they're looking for, and they end up paring down your part because they wanted your look to
Oh
happen.
yeah.
It happens. It happens
Too
all the
short,
freaking
too
time.
tall, too pretty, too ugly, too fat, too skinny, too everything. You
Yeah.
can be too much of anything. There is no perfect, and there never will be.
Never ever will be. And yet at the same time, you are the best of you that there is
Can't beat
out
it.
there.
Can't
Yeah,
beat
you
it.
can't beat yourself. I have my first class tomorrow. I'm the advanced audition teacher for East West Players, which
Yeah.
is the oldest theater of color in Los Angeles, and I'm teaching their advanced class, which is being sponsored by NBC.
Oh,
And I
very
looked at
cool.
my students. It's very cool. They're very cool. I looked at my students this year, and I immediately know that I'm going to lead with the fact of, wow, I've got 6 good-looking Asian dudes and 6 good-looking Asian women. And the trick is, none of y'all act the same because I've seen all your reels and you're all different. And it's going to be fantastic watching them go through the same dialogue, the same for
I
each of
love
them,
that.
and realizing that none of them are the same.
Those are my
I'm
favorite.
gonna watch the freaking sparks go off in their heads and go, oh shit. So the way that I play this guy who's being interrogated on NCIS is different than the way this other gentleman who looks a lot like me is gonna play it. And it has nothing to do with anything more than our God-given talent and our ability to perform the scene the way we want to do it.
Yep.
It's gonna be really
Your
cool.
perception,
Very
your
excited for that.
life, the shit you've been through, all of that. That personal stuff is what makes our work brilliant.
Yes. And authentic.
Yep.
authentic to you.
FY Izzle, AJ and I are planning on starting a podcast, so you'll have to come play with us every once in a while.
Fantastic. I
Yeah,
love that son of a
yeah.
bitch. Fantastic. And by that, I mean
Bitches of
AJ is
sons.
fantastic.
Sure. Oh, I thought you meant that he was the
Man, you
son
and your
of. I wasn't going to
kids,
tell his
man.
mom.
I think I'm going to have a conversation with my girlfriend about possibly trying to get children so I can jump them on as well, too.
Yeah, you've got
You and all your
time.
kids.
You know.
I know I'm not that old yet. My knees are still at 70%. I can go, I think, a little bit.
You are going to have to get a bigger dog bed though, because.
I know. I don't think me and a baby's gonna fit on that dog bed. I just don't think it's gonna work.
Well, and hopefully a wife, to you can't have the kid alone. I mean, you can. It's 2022. There's weirder things that happen.
There's it's science, baby, science.
All right,
No,
I got to get my butt to the
I'm
gym. Always a pleasure, my friend. To everyone
Yes,
else
sir,
kicking
bud.
and hanging out with us, like I said, go follow Kenzo. He's awesome sauce, and we'll definitely do these again. If you guys have questions, feel free to DM me. I don't mind jumping on and doing some lives here and there, and Kenzo's always happy to come join me as well.
Oh yeah.
If you haven't already, go check. You can actually go to my link in my bio. I'm actually going to teach a beginner class soon, which I have not done in a very, very long time, but there will be one. And there's some other classes on there y'all can check out as well. And you can probably go message Kenzo if you guys are in LA and want to check out some of the stuff he's doing as well.
Mm-hmm.
Pleasure, my
Hey guys,
friend.
just really fast, just to give you a heads up. A lot of us out here, there's a lot of actors who teach classes. Okay, you're gonna see a lot of them, but very few of them are actually auditioning consistently the way that Dean is, the way that I do. So although there's a lot of teachers out there, please, please, please check who you're learning from, okay? Because some people are antiquated, some people have not auditioned since 2004, 2005, some people have not booked for a long time, and while their teaching may be fantastic, they will not have knowledge that'll help you today.
Yeah.
They might be missing a little bit of something. So keep
And I
that
would
in
also
mind.
add
This
that,
guy's
even
fantastic,
if it,
though.
oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Back at you, my brother. And even if it's a coach that doesn't necessarily act, nothing wrong with that, right? I mean, some of these my mentor has been doing this for I don't know how long, and he just loved coaching. Didn't he had his success in acting. I was like, all right, I'm good. This is what I want to do now. Nothing wrong with either side of that. But yeah, do your research on anybody you decide to work with, decide to take headshots with, decide any of this stuff in the industry. There are plenty actors talk, and if someone has done some shady shenanigans, especially nowadays, please, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check out who you're going to sit in a private room with to take headshots or do anything with. It's just an interesting world, and you just don't know about people. So do your due diligence. On that note,
So let's
love
Google
you,
search
brother.
away, guys. Love you too, man.
All right.
I'm going to sit and try for the next hour. I'll talk to you later.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed the conversation. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, please put them down in the comments. Please like, subscribe, and follow. All those things that people tell you to do. Do all of them for me as well. It's what helps me keep the channel up. It helps YouTube say, hey, you should show more people these things because they're enjoyable. If they're not enjoyable, please put that in the comments. I don't care. I'll read nasty reviews and talk about you people. Not that there's a you people involved, but you people might be the you people if you are those people that I'm referring to. Also, please ignore that noise coming from my computer because it's working on an edit that I haven't finished yet. Other than that, see you guys on the next one. Bye! Oh, and I have an iMovie thing coming up where I'm going to help you guys understand how to tweak the sound a little bit to make it better. Hopefully you won't hear all the horrible sound coming from my computer because I'm going to edit it in a second to make it sound better.